Hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're going to be making a Roubo book stand. Well, I'm really excited about this week's show because I've been wanting to make one of these Roubo book stands for a very long time, and I'm finally getting around to doing it. Now, we've got a lot of ground to cover, so for a change, I'm not going to do too much talking here at the beginning, other than to say you need to mill yourself a piece of walnut that's going to end up being 1 inch thick, and it doesn't matter the width, let's say 6-7 inches wide, and we're going to make this one 17 inches long. Well, the layout of this project is fairly simple, and it starts off by scoring a line all the way down the middle of our board. With our board being 1 inch thick, we'll be scoring a line at, yeah, you guessed it, 1/2 inch. You now want to extend this line all the way around all 4 sides. Our next order of business is to choose which end of your board is going to be the bottom of your book holder. Measure up approximately 6 inches from the bottom, and we're just going to place a square here, line it up, and we're going to score a line right across that 6 inch mark. The next step in the layout is where a lot of people get confused, myself included, and I've messed up a couple of them myself. We now want to score a diamond in the middle. We're going to use that 90-degree line as our reference point, and we're just going to score a diamond in here. So one leg of our diamond will be here. This will be our next leg. Right here like this. We're then going to turn our square around, meet up with this bottom corner, and score right here, just like that. And then lastly, from this side here, from this corner, we're going to finish off our diamond by scoring just like that. The next line that we want to score is going to complete our little set here kind of thing, and that will be from this corner now of our diamond. We're going to score another 90-degree line. We now want to transfer this 90-degree line right here onto our front and our back face. We also want to transfer this 90-degree line onto our front and our back face, and as well the center points of our diamonds on both the front and the back face. We want to transfer and score those lines as well on both the front and the back face. And now, using those lines that you scored on the front and back face as reference, you can now transfer that diamond onto the opposite edge of the board so that both edges are identical, and now both faces should be identical as well. So now you want to divide this into an uneven number of sections. It can be 5, 7, 9, it doesn't matter as long as it's uneven. So I'm going to divide mine into 5 equal sections. And we will transfer those exact same measurements onto the opposite side of our stock. Using our dividing lines that divided our board into the 5 equal sections, we're going to use those dividing lines as a reference point. And we're going to drill a hole, just a blade entry hole, at the top of each line here, right where it intersects with our score mark. And we want to, from there, take it to the scroll saw, use a number 7 reverse tooth blade, and we're going to cut a slot from score mark to score mark on each one of our dividing lines. Well, just for clarity, I'm going to mark this next section in chalk so that you can understand it. The way that this thing opens up, we need to decide which will be the front and the top. We've already said that this 6 inches up will be the bottom, but now we need our top section that will hold our book. And the front part is going to be the shelf that folds down in order to hold our book. So that means that half of this top section is garbage or waste. So this will be where we're getting rid of the parts. And I chose this because there's snipe here and I want this to be gone. So this will be our shelf. So if that makes sense to you, this now will be the front part of our shelf. So what we need to do is, on our edges, we want to keep the full support of our shelf. So this will be just like that. So because of that, we're going to need to chip out this section here, which means we will chip out this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. And if we follow that same pattern on the opposite side, here is our short shelf that comes along to hold our book. It comes down through our 45 and across, which means that on the back section now, we will need to chip away this section, this one, and this one. Well, it's now time to start the chipping out process. So on the outside edge of each one of these scored lines, you will be chiseling straight down, just like this. And then you will be taking a piece out of the middle, eventually working down to that 45 slope that you scored in just a minute ago. So I'm going to continue to chisel these. When I get this one done, I'll show you the end results of what you're looking to accomplish. And in the end, you should end up with something that looks like this. Now I can see I have a little extra paring to do here to bring it down to my 45 line and make it square sort of thing. But other than that, this is the effect you're looking for. So in the next chalk line area, you will do the exact same, except the 45 will be on the opposite side and your 90 will be on this outside here. So then you'll chisel out this one, 45 in, 90 on the outside, etc., etc. So now that you have the chiseling all done on one side, flip it over and chisel out the sections that you marked on the opposite side. Now it's time to cut the decorative top or bottom in your piece that you want. So let's draw out the pattern that we want for our bottom and our top section up here. And once we get those drawn out, of course, we'll head over to the scroll saw and cut those out. Well, if you've been following along at home, you should have something that looks like this. Now it's time to split these boards so that it can do that pivot thing. Now, you see a lot of people online doing it with a handsaw and that sort of thing, and that's great. If that's your gig and that's what you're into, then by all means, grab that ripping saw and rip through a 6-inch wide walnut board, and you have a great time with that. For me, I'm going to put my resaw blade into the bandsaw and we're going to cut right through this thing, dead center, right down the middle. We are not going to cut past this line. Coming from either side, you are not going to cut past that line. You want to stop it right as soon as you hit that diamond that you scored. The second you hit that, you're done. Don't go any further. So, it's a little nerve-wracking, you've come this far, but don't worry about it. Let's head over to the bandsaw, get it set up, and make the 2 cuts. And now with those cuts made, this should, that crack always worries me, but it should just peel apart. We'll make sure everything's separated here. There we go. There's the separation we're looking for. And we'll just, there it is. Took a bit there to wiggle it free, but we've got it wiggled free and everything's good. Now all we need to do is we need to cut our shelf shorter. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over to the table saw and I'm going to cut this piece off. I'm just going to be very careful on the height of the blade so it just barely penetrates this piece and doesn't mar the one underneath it. And the very last thing that we need to do here to complete our book stand would be to give the entire thing a good sanding. And there you have it, a Roubo book stand. Guys, this is a great project, a lot of fun, and a real great time mixing both the hand tools with the chisels and that sort of thing, and then the power tools with the bandsaw with splitting the boards apart, etc., etc. Can you do it all with hand tools? 100%. Of course you can. Why not? And if that's what you want to do, I applaud you and I say do it. You know, guys, it's a great gift. Look at this thing. The fact that it is all made out of one piece of wood with absolutely no joinery whatsoever is super impressive, and it's gorgeous. Who on your gift list would not be impressed and would not enjoy and love this? If you can think of a person, remove them from your gift list. It's as simple as that. Guys, great project, a lot of fun. I hope that I've portrayed it in a way that you guys can understand and that it will excite you to make your own, because I really had a great time making this one. I know it sounds like I say that for every project, but quite honestly, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. Guys, thanks for tuning in again this week, and I hope you're going to join me again next week for yet another woodworking video.